Russia's assault on Ukraine is intensifying. This is Kharkiv in the east of Ukraine, and President Zelensky is clear on what we're seeing.
Russian forces have brutally fired on Kharkiv from rocket artillery. It is clearly a war crime.
If civilians were targeted, that would be a war crime. And other footage raises questions about Russia's conduct. This attack may have been a cluster bomb. They're banned by many countries, though not by Russia or Ukraine. But Boris Johnson is clear on what we're seeing.
Vladimir Putin is prepared to use barbaric and indiscriminate tactics against innocent civilians.
Other Russian attacks include this in the northeastern town of Oktyrka. Ukraine says 70 soldiers died and makes this claim.
They used the vacuum bomb today, which is actually prohibited by Geneva Convention.
Vacuum bombs ignite a fireball that sucks in all surrounding oxygen. They're a thermobaric weapon whose use is condemned by the international community, though it's not confirmed a vacuum bomb was used in this attack. There's also the city of Kherson. This is verified footage of an airstrike on Friday. Now the city's encircled. To hold it under siege would be a war crime. To these questions, Russia offers this defense.
Let me stress that strikes are carried out only on military targets and exclusively with high-precision weapons. During military clashes, the Ukrainian side does not hesitate to use civilians as human shields.
It hasn't, though, offered any evidence that Ukraine is doing this. And the UN is clear on who's bearing the cost in this war.
The scale of civilian casualties and damage to civilian infrastructure, even in these very early days, is alarming.
It is alarming, but are Russia's actions war crimes? The UK appears to think so.
We'll also be supporting the efforts to make sure that evidence of war crimes is preserved.
And the European Union says this is
Geopolitical terrorism, pure and simple.
But even if a war crime has been committed, justice is a long road. It could come via the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Its prosecutor says, I am satisfied that there's reasonable basis to believe that both alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed in Ukraine. But there are many hurdles to a prosecution. This is one of them.
Russia is not a member of the ICC, so if any Russian nationals were to be prosecuted, indicted, they would have to be extradited by the Kremlin first.
And that, of course, is highly unlikely. But convictions do happen. The former Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic was found guilty of war crimes committed in the Yugoslav wars of the 1990s. There's no doubting the horror of what's happening in Ukraine. And for Ukraine's government, there's no doubt what this amounts to.
There is no purgatory for war criminals. They go straight to hell.
War crimes often hinge on intent, on whether people have been deliberately killed illegally, targeting civilians, for example. Russia denies doing this, but there's skepticism from a watching world.